My name is Carina and welcome to the Carina Chronicles. In this reading vlog I'm going to join a 24-hour reading challenge. So that means that I'm going to try to read as much as possible in 24 hours. And that means that I'm going to try to read a lot of books. So, 2 books that I'm at least going to finish, because if you are going to read for 24 hours, you know that this week is going to be at least an average reading week, right? So, 2 books that I'm definitely going to read are The Bone-Shard Daughter by Andrea Stewart. I got this book from a friend. We chose a book for each other when we visited a bookstore together. And I really liked that idea, and I didn't want to put it on my shelves for like years, what I usually do when I get a random book. I know, I'm sorry, but that is just what happens. I was like, no, I'm going to read this immediately. So I'm reading this one, and after that I'm reading The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. My first book by Holly Black. I don't have that much high hopes, but we'll see. Maybe I am wrong. And it is nice. I do love that I'm going to read 2 fantasies, and if I finish this in time, I will also start The Redemption of Time by Baoshu, a novella of the 3-body problem universe, the Remembrance of Earth's Past trilogy universe, written by another author, but blessed by Cixin Liu. So then I will also read some science fiction, and I was really down for that. I have read a lot of dystopian, really YA books, coming of age stories, and I liked them, but I was really up for some fantasy and science fiction. So let's start this week. Hoi! I don't know why I started in Dutch, but you probably understand. I'm joining a 24 hours reading challenge, as I told you all. It's the Aurelium all-nighter, which means that I'm going to try to read all night long. Usually my rules for myself are reading until at least 2 o'clock. And then if I almost finished my book, finish the book. If I haven't finished my book almost, then I just go to bed and I wake up early, like 7 or 8. And I call that an all-nighter because that is pretty long reading. And I also do breaks of half an hour between books because otherwise you get crazy. And I think this time it will be even more different. Why is the sun exactly in my face? I'm sorry. But this will be more different because I am going to watch the stream of Book Roast G during this all-nighter, and she will probably just do sprints of 45 minutes, 50 minutes, and then do some talking. So during the talking I can also do some small things, cooking, because I wasn't yet able to make dinner, so I need to do that. And maybe I want to do some cleaning, you know, just when you need a little break from the reading. But I'm going to try to read as much as possible in 24 hours. I'm really happy that, well, I usually don't say that, but today I didn't really have time to read yet, which means that I can start the first book at page 1. So that feels cool. It's The Bone-Shard Daughter by Andrea Stewart. Really curious. Literally every person I told that I was going to read this book were like, oh, this is incredible. That's my favorite book of whatever. So really excited about that and really curious to see how it ends up, and I will definitely let you know. Now I will use the last 15 minutes that I have before this readathon starts to get into something comfy, grab my blanket, make sure that the YouTube stream is on. I think I'm going to put it on the television. I like that idea. And make sure I have enough water, a little bit of snacks, and then I'm ready for this. So excited. Also really happy to finally have weekend. So, woohoo! I'm going to enjoy my time. So the all-nighter appeared to be not an all-nighter, which of course I already expected because People are not going to stay up like literally the whole night and need to work the next week. That's not going to happen. I really liked the content, but I was also a little bit disappointed because it was really great, but I rather would have had this whole readathon thingy as another event, like called differently or on a different date, because I do 24-hour reading challenges 3 times a year and I've never read this little, and I really expected to like maybe even finish 5 books, you know, because we were really going to get through this with people the whole night. And it actually, we started at 7, like 7 at my place. It's midnight here now. So that is like 5.5 hours, and I read 100 pages, which I usually would read in less than 2 hours. So if I would have had just a normal evening off, I would have read much more than I did now. But I did really enjoy all the things that G created. I just didn't expect it to happen on a 24-hour reading challenge. Also, tomorrow there are not sprints. It's just like a communal motivation. So I need to do this for myself now. At least that means that I can read a little more, because I didn't read that much yet. I am a little more than 100 pages into The Bone Shard Daughter, and I really like it. I really like it. I hope I will like the rest just as well. And as I think I said, I planned on reading it until at least 2, and if I would then have less than 100 pages, finish the book. The book has a little over 400 pages, and I don't think I will be able to finish 250 in 1.5 hours. So that means that at 2 o'clock I won't be within the 100 pages reach. But if I feel well enough still, I might still try to finish this book just so that I can have a better start tomorrow. But I'm already tired, so I think 2 a.m. would be the maximum. We'll see. I'm at least going to read like half an hour now, have a 5-minute break or something, and then do 55 minutes. And then I'll see how far in I am and if I'm going to finish it. If it's staying like this and we're getting to a climax, I will not even be able to put it down. So that will be a good sign. We'll see. That was my update. Hello. It's 3 p.m. on the same day, and I haven't updated you in a while. Or did I say the same day? Did I update you this morning? Yes, I did, I think. No, I didn't. Wait, I didn't. But doesn't matter, no. It's 3 p.m. and I finished The Bone Shard Daughter. And it's one of my new all-time favorite fantasies. I cannot believe how many books I've been reading this month. But I also cannot believe how many 5-star ratings I've been reading. This is the 3rd out of 7 books that I finished. And all the other ratings were like 4 stars. It's incredible. I've never had this good of a month. And it's only the 21st. So we still have quite some days to go. Something else that is really nice is that my Goodreads reading goal now says that I'm 12 books behind, which sounds like a lot. But if you know me, you know that I started this whole year with 13 books behind, because I, like 2-3 years ago, I was short 14 books, but I still want to have 50 books per year in my Goodreads overview, because I found that pretty. So I need to catch up on them through the years, and I only caught up on 1 because last year I read 51 books. So that means that I started with 30 books behind, and now I'm only 12 books behind. So if I keep on this schedule, I will finish 51 books again this year, which is nice because I was like 18 books behind. So finally back on track. Love this book. It's going to be a trilogy, but the second part is already out. The third one is not yet. Need to continue this series soon. It's so good. As you might understand, I did 24 hours of reading, or I am doing that, and I wanted to finish 5 books. I never expected myself to do so, but I do want to finish more than this. And I felt a little bit salty that I joined the readathon event yesterday evening because it contained so little reading time. So my plan now is, because tomorrow is also still weekend for me and I have almost nothing planned, I am going to clean the house and do some other things, but it doesn't matter if I'm a little bit tired, that I'm not going to stop this readathon at 7, but I will make up for the hours I lost yesterday evening by extending this to 10 or 11 p.m. So really excited about that. That means that I have quite some time left to finish at least another book and maybe start even in a third one. And the next book I'm going to read is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. A booktube and young adult favorite of many that I haven't yet started on. It's my first book by Holly Black overall, which is already quite interesting because she's so popular. I don't really have that high expectations of this book because it's quite an old YA fantasy, which are usually not that good. But I also read some reviews of people that I follow or that I know, and most of them said I highly underestimated this book. It's actually quite nice. So maybe I'm one of those people. I will start reading that. I'm going to sit outside as well, I think, because the weather is really nice. And I'm really happy that at least I finished one whole book in this readathon. It was also a fantasy, an English fantasy, which always takes me longer. I could only read like 50 pages per hour, so then it takes a while because it was 435 pages. So to have finished this in one evening and one morning is quite alright for me. So yeah, that was actually it for my update. And I'm going to start in The Cruel Prince now. Hi, I have a few updates. The week has been going on nicely, some things have happened, there are some things I want to talk about, but first let's update you on The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. How far am I in? 152 pages out of 370, and I quite like it. I think it's a lot of YA to take into after I've read The Bone Shard Daughter, because that was so YA/adult. It was a very good in-between book and a real fantasy, and this is more like a romance fantasy fairy novel. But I do like it and it's quite original still, so we'll see how I end up liking it. So that is the first nice update. And all the updates I have are actually quite nice. The next one is about my review copies, because there's a publisher that I get review copies of quite often. And they contacted me because they want to take things to a more professional level. And I was a little bit nervous what that meant to me. Like, would that mean that for me it would stop, that our collaboration would be over? But no, it did not mean that. It means that now I am officially in their review team, and I can choose 3 books freely per half year, so 6 per year. And before that I needed to subscribe to a book, and it was first come, first serve. And if you didn't get it, you didn't get it. And you needed to post a review within 2 weeks. And that's all over now. I get the 3 books I want, no matter what. But there are only 3, never more. And I get 2 months after their release date to actually post a review. So yes, this is a little later, because as you could hear, someone was walking in and we chatted and everything, so I stopped updating, but now I'm back. But yeah, the publisher thing is really nice. I'm really happy they offered me this, and they also offered me a discount for all the other books they have at their publishing house for me, which is great. So I'm really happy with this deal we made. And then something completely different. As you might know, I want to collect all the Penguin cloth-bound classics there exist. There are like 91 now, and some more are being published in March, I think, of next year. So yeah, really cool. And I saw that one that is being published in March is The Master and Margarita, one book I recently read and really liked. So I asked myself, how am I going to collect all these books? Because I want to, but every time when I have the opportunity to actually buy one, I don't, because I found them too expensive. And I think myself, I want myself to have a very good reason to buy that book. But if I would do so, that was first my plan, like when you get a new job or something, you're allowed to do that. Well, then it will hopefully not happen too often, because you stay at your job for a while. I will never have 91 jobs, you know. So that doesn't really work. And I also don't want to buy all the books that I've read in these cloth-bound classics, but because those are quite a few. I own a lot of second-hand classics. I own a lot of cloth-bound classics in a Dutch version, a Dutch series that is publishing world classics in a new format. I'm collecting those, and almost all of those also have a Penguin cloth-bound classic edition. I own some just normal paperbacks I bought before the book was published as a cloth-bound classics for Penguin. So how am I going to do this? And I decided to just buy one when the opportunity is there. And I mean by that when I want to buy a specific book and it is available as Penguin cloth-bound classic, I buy it. So it's not when I go to a bookstore that I buy a random book and always a cloth-bound classics. It's not that I'm going now back and buy The Master and Margarita because it's now getting out as a Penguin classics. No, I am not doing that. That one will follow very late, I guess. But it is now, with the next book I'm going to show you, being The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde, because I wanted to buy that book. And I came to this conclusion because the paperback was actually as expensive as the cloth-bound classics. As cheap, I should say, actually, because it was really cheap. But look, I have it, and it's really pretty, and it feels really nice, and it fits my other classics. So yes, I'm gonna read this soon, and that's why I bought it. Really happy with it. It was only 11 euros, like literally. Buy this one for yourself. It's also published on the first day they published Penguin Classics cloth-bound editions. There were 10 they published at once, and this is one of them. So really happy to have this, and I'm going to read it soon. And before I go to bed, because it has been a very tiring day and I need to work tomorrow morning early, I want to show you 2 more books that I actually bought. Yes, it's that time again. I'm buying a lot of books, but at least I already read 7 this month, and I hope I can finish the 8th one, which is a record. So I'm allowed to buy some books, right? And the first one of them is Vaccinatie. It's translated to vaccination. And this is the second part in the Elementary Part series, which is a Dutch series where they publish all kinds of little encyclopedias. Lots of them are translated from other languages, where they made these small encyclopedias. It's like a new collection created. They're all published in this paperback way with one color scheme and then these rounds. I already own The Earth in this series, which was part 1. They have like more than 100 now, but I'm crazy and I'm doing them in order. So the first one was The Earth and the second one is Vaccination, which is actualized for Corona. And I'm interested in that. I made myself like a schedule that I can buy one of that series to educate myself once in a while. And this was the time, which is purely coincidental. It's like a random alarm clock or something. It sometimes goes off and then I'm allowed to buy it. It's been like 3 years since I bought the other one, so don't worry, I won't get into this non-fiction very often, but for now I am, and I'm really happy to have it. And the other book is Tegen, Weten, Weten by Charlotte de Monchy, which is a Dutch author. It doesn't sound like that, but it is, and this is a feel-good romance novel, which is from the book club that I follow but don't attend the meetings to. And this was the next one after The Cruel Prince, and I almost finished The Cruel Prince, so I was like, I'm going to buy the next one. So that's my little haul, and now I'm going to bed. Hi. So I finished The Cruel Prince, this one. And I absolutely did not dislike it. But after reading The Bone Shard Daughter, which I absolutely thought to be incredible and one of my new favorite fantasy novels, this one was a little bit of a cliche letdown. And it's not fair because I already expected that, and it's not as bad as I expected. And apart from that, it also read like nicely fast, and the romance was cringy, but I think that was kind of part of the character or something. Like the character knew it was cringy and she kept being like, I'm just doing this for fun, I don't like him that much. And I know that's probably not true, but I like that she was telling us, I'm just having fun. I know it will probably be over soon, but I'm fine with that, you know? There was a change, not like, oh, I met this person, so I need to have children with him. I liked that. So actually I liked everything about it, but just the comparison to the other things I've read this month. Like I've read 3 5-star ratings so far. The Hunger Games, Heartstopper Volume 1 and The Bone Shard Daughter. And those 3 were definitely better than this. But the rest of all the books I've read this month were 4-star ratings, which is also very high. And those were almost all YA fantasy like. And is this one, which is also YA fantasy, then just as good? I think not. I'm not sure. I think, now I'm thinking of it, I think it would be if I just not had read The Bone Shard Daughter before this, which was so good. But I think I'm going to give it 3 stars anyway, because I'm just not that impressed. And I was constantly thinking about starting The Redemption of Time, which is the book I'm going to read after this, but that will be in the next vlog. I am not in my great reading sprint anymore, although this is book 8, I think, that I've read this month, so I'm fine. But I kept thinking on, I want to start that one, and that's usually not a good sign. I didn't have that with The Bone Shard Daughter. I didn't want it to finish. And I also didn't have that with all the books that I was reading. I was just curious for that book, and this book was just like, I like it, but I want to go to another book. So I think I give it 3 stars, but with a little side note that I think it could deserve 4, but just not for me. And that was actually all I wanted to tell you. I think this reading vlog is going to be long enough again. Next week I have some time on my own again, and I also have some time traveling. Not time traveling, but I have some time to read while traveling. And I'm really excited for that, because then I can read a book. I will read The Redemption of Time by Boshu, a companion novel to the Remembrance of Earth's Past trilogy by Cixin Liu. Very excited to read the science fiction. It's been a while. And I really need, well, not need, but really want to finish that one in August still. So that's what the next vlog will be about. I hope to see you then back. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please leave a like. If you subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell, you will be notified whenever I post a new video. I hope you'll have a lovely day filled with books, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye! I can't believe the 24-hour reading challenge was also this week. It feels like at least a month ago. I guess that's what happens when you're reading a lot.